As I said yesterday, I wanted to start spending some more time sharing with you guys here on my channel. And so I am starting to do some lives so that I can have you guys here and share what I get up to in the studio. So this is Tuesday. Is it the 25th or so? Trying to think what date this is. Let me just check. Yep, this is Tuesday, March 25th. And yeah, I wanted to be able to share some more with you guys in the studio. So I have started doing a whole range of things to share with you what I get up to in the art studio. If you have yourself have always thought of being an artist or you've really been interested in being creative, I wanted to share my journey with that. And so I've been painting for a long time since I was a kid, and I currently am in a place where I'm really comfortable with what it is that I do. I'm really enjoying my art process, my exploration of different things that I do, different topics and subject matter, and different mediums that I love to use. So I wanted to bring you into the studio a little bit more to share in that. So this is the second live that I've done this year for my YouTube. So I welcome. If this is your first time actually coming and seeing me at all, hearing about me, or coming to my channel, welcome. And yeah, let's get on with it today. What is it I want to do in the studio? I have so many things that I'm always thinking about when I'm in the studio. I'm always thinking I want to tidy it. I want to paint. I want to paint different things all at once. But doing this, I'm hoping will start to focus me in on what it is that I want to be doing in my studio. I am starting to get a bit more acclimatized to what I have in here. So I'm getting better at managing my spaces. So I wanted to share what I was doing yesterday and how far I got. And then also just in between, maybe do some other organizing as well. So I'm just going to turn you around so that you can see what it is, what my desk looks like that I'm using for the painting for today. So let's turn you around. So you can see a part of my studio there. And this is what my desk looks like. Still a mess over this corner. I mentioned this yesterday in the live that I still need to organize these paint brushes. I was going to put them into this jar, so I need to figure that out. So yeah, another live going on here. You can see my studio space. This is my desk that I'm supposed to use for my computing work. And I have one of my own images on it as a screensaver, so that's a lot of fun. So I can change that whenever I want with my digital artwork. So I really enjoy that. So that's my office space. And then here I have my painting segment, my painting area that I'm sharing with you guys today. Hi, everybody. Welcome. If this is your first time, I was just saying that my name is Beatrice Ajayi. I'm an artist based in Glasgow in Scotland. Hi, everybody. And I thought I would bring you guys into the studio to see what I'm getting up to today. This is my second live this week. And I want to be able to share more with you guys and help inspire you, because it's not that I've arrived or anything. Every day we are learning from our art journey. So I wanted to be able to share what I get up to. And yesterday I wanted to start using some more of my mediums. So I've got my spray paints out. And I bought them some time ago, so I'm like, I need to use them. I can't just have them sitting there. Nice to meet you guys. Yes, please, you can subscribe. My YouTube channel is Be Creative TV, because my inspiration is to try and encourage people to be artists, to kind of look at what it is that they're interested in creatively. So I was painting these yesterday, and I am going to show you some more of that today of what I'm doing. So I've been painting some landscapes, and these, I'm going to show you the process. This is with acrylic paint. I did do art school, actually. Thank you for asking. I did a foundation in art and design down south in England, because I'm based in Scotland. And I also went to Nottingham Trent University as well. Show you some ideas for what to paint. I love to paint a whole range of things. I love to paint abstract art. These are abstracted landscapes I'm painting here. And I also love to paint animals as well. So this is one of the pieces. This is like a hummingbird. I love to use a lot of color. I actually didn't used to use that much color when I first started painting. And I used to paint, I used to just draw, only draw. And I decided that if Picasso could create artwork that was very abstracted and still become someone, then I was going to do the same. So I started just scribbling when I was a kid, and I ended up scribbling characters like this. So this is, let's see if I can get this clear enough for you. So this is one of the pieces that I used to kind of sketch as a kid. These were illustrated pieces, and I used to just scribble lines on a piece of paper and try and find a character in it. So these are some of the ones I did when I was younger. I never used color. I was scared of using color. And so I always just drew. That was what I did, just draw. So these are some postcards I created of some artwork because I ended up being a storyteller. I think that's one way we can tell that we can create art is by going through being a storyteller. And that's what will help us to actually engage in our artwork. So even if it's a dot on a paper, I will make a story about that dot because I just love storytelling. So I'm just going to hook you guys up so that you can see what I'm doing here. If I get myself organized, I'm trying to just adjust this here. So this is my setup I have above my painting area. I've put these lights up. I'm really enjoying doing this because my studio is based in my garage, and it is quite dark in here. The only light is just here, and it doesn't fill the whole space. So I'm having to put a lot of light in different areas of my studio in order to get myself really working away because I don't have a window at this moment. So in this area, I have some of my stickers that I designed digitally. So I use different mediums. And if this is your first time here, my name is Beatrice Ajayi. I'm an artist based in Glasgow in Scotland. And I love to use different mediums to create art because I feel like in order to say something, sometimes when we're storytelling about things that interest us or about life that's, part of our lives, we have to use different vessels to express that. And so I think that it's really good to experiment with all the different creative tools that we have. Watercolor or acrylic. Oh, I use them all. And that's why I was just explaining that they do different things. They respond in different ways. And so it depends on what you're trying to say. And that medium will be able to have that conversation with you. That's the way I view my mediums. If I'm trying to do certain things, just certain mediums just express it in a specific way. Some are more fluid. Some have got more texture and are more tactile. So a whole range of reasons for using different tools and different mediums. But I think that it's best to experiment. That's the only way you're going to know what your preference is. I don't think it's about better. I think it's about preference. So this is a piece I started yesterday. I'm going to work on it to get it to some kind of a place that I like. Like I like this a lot. I love the movement because I'm working in abstracted landscapes. I work on also portraiture as well. Let me see if I can find some of that for you. So I have a whole range of pieces. When you check out my what would I call it? When you check out my actual channel, you'll see the range of different pieces that I have worked on to create. So I do have one of the videos on my channel, I painted this piece. So this was me working in my in my sketchbook. So I love to do that as well. So this was one piece there. Let's see what else I have in here. They're all sticking together. Not the best artist practice, is it? But I don't mind because I want to be just very, very free with how I'm creating and not have any limitations on my artwork. So I'm very free. I did think about doing some portraiture today, but I changed my mind. I changed my mind from doing that. Let's see if I can find some other artwork for you. So this one as well is another piece that I created in one of my videos here on my YouTube channel. And I really love florals as well. So this was a piece that I took my time with and I really enjoyed. And this is acrylic paint. But as I said, I love to use different mediums. So sometimes I would go in and I would use maybe coloring pencils and add some other colors as well. These are woody pencils. and they're water soluble, so they're very good to add into places. You can use water on it, you can use your gel medium over it, or you can use clear gesso, which I have just here, to seal it in. So clear gesso, things that are translucent will allow the colors to be a bit more vibrant. So if I used my white gesso over this, it would dull it down. So you need to know your mediums. The more you use them, you know how they work. And that's the way I would say start using, you know, use the different mediums. Like I've got my watercolors here because you were asking about watercolors. It's about layering as well. So I would start with like ordinary pencils. I would start with like the watercolors. Then you build the layers. You can put gesso over it. You can put gel medium over it. And then you can work with acrylic paint. And you can add other mediums, textures that you want as well. There's a lot of different textural mediums. And also then oil paint can be your last layer. So I like to build my layers and have a lot of fun. Oh yeah, my YouTube channel is Be Creative TV. So BEA Creative TV. And you'll see a whole range of artwork that I've created on that. And I wanted to be engaging with you guys a bit more. So that's what I'm getting up to. So I'm going to add some color onto this and show you what I was doing yesterday and having some fun. So I'm going to use some of this and just go straight in and start painting. So this is a woody pencil, as I was saying. Yesterday I mentioned how I wanted to start using some of the supplies I've not been using for a while. This is also water-soluble crayons. So I've been adding all of these onto the painting and building the layers. And I'll show you how I'm doing that. So I'm just adding quite bright colors onto this. I'm going to get some of my gesso here. I need to mix some more actually. Let's see. Take this out. So I've got different kind of palette knives as well. There's so much fun with the variety of palette knives you can have. So I've got this one like this shape, this as well, and this one you can get quite a different design on it. So if I, for example, this one is flat. I've just put this on. It's got a curved edges. But if I use this and I scrape across, it's kind of left some higher parts and taken some away. So there's a lot of tools. I feel like the tools really will dictate how we create our artwork. So I wanted to use this sword brush. I think it's a sword brush. I keep forgetting what it's called. And so the water-soluble crayon has been put on the bottom. I'm now adding my tinted acrylic, what do they call it, gesso. And it's tinted because when you get your gesso, you can always put a color on it. You don't have to have pure white gesso. You can always add a little bit of color in it so that you can then not have pure, like, because the white color is very saturated when you put it on and it can be quite controlling. So I'm just going to go lower here. I am not thinking too much about what I'm doing right now. I am just experimenting and playing around. Let's see, I have another, I think I'm going to put some, let's see, I wanted to use these greens actually. I have these greens here. So I'm not thinking too much about, other than I'm imagining a landscape environment. So in the landscape, there are, you know, there's going to be greens. There are going to be some orange, some yellows. And so I am just putting them through different tools, different vehicles. I'm putting it down and then I will react to whatever I'm seeing. And if I like the way that the paint goes, then when I add some paint, then I will respond to that. But there's just different ways to approach being creative. I'm looking for some of my Prussian blue. So the more we're using our tools and our paint, the more we're going to know what each of them is called. We're going to know what they do, what they bring to the table as mediums. So I'm really enjoying just adding. So sometimes we can get some muddy bits, like I would call this a muddy bit. But what I do is I'll either let it dry or I'll put a color that is more imposing over it. So I'm just twisting my brush around, playing around with it. adding colors, washing off my brush, going back and forth, and trying to see what I can bring out of this. So as I said, I have a whole range of little landscapes that I'm creating like this, and I'm really having fun. I'll show you what it is that I'm trying to do with the final piece. So I have a whole range of these that I've framed, and these will be sold in my shop. There's a shop in Glasgow that sells my work, and also in Edinburgh. So I basically produce artwork for that through the week, and also just for myself as well, just to keep me agile. So yeah, so I'm part of an art collective here in Scotland that is called the Scottish Design Exchange, and they basically have a whole range of Scottish students that sell their work. So I love to create accessible art for people, and that's what I've been getting up to. And I've really been enjoying these series of landscapes that I've been creating here in the studio. They are small, they're accessible, and I'm just having a lot of fun with them. So let's see, just gonna add this green. I wanted to use more greens today in the landscapes I'm creating, so that is what I'm doing. So it can get quite messy in the studio, but it's all fun. I'm enjoying myself. So I hope you guys are finding time as well to figure out what you like creatively, what you would love to do. It's just, I know that it's sometimes to do with time. I remember when my children were really young, and even when I was feeding them, I would still be sketching away with one hand. I just never stopped. If I was working on my lunch breaks, if I was on a bus, I would be sketching. If I'm on the train, I'm sketching. Every opportunity. I just love being able to use this kind of fun way to storytell and to share our imaginations. It's just a lot of fun. But it doesn't always have to be, you know, a two-dimensional way to create. You could always also create using, you know, with other vessels. Like if you like to dance, you like to sing, I think being creative is an awesome thing. So not to limit any of that at all. I'm trying to think. I used spray paint on this yesterday. I'm trying to think if I want to add any more to this. Maybe some red. So what I'm doing is that when I add these layers, I let them also sit for some time to dry so that I can add another layer on top. If not, it then can just end up becoming really muddy. So I like some of the movement in this, and I'm just gonna add another layer. I need to put some more water in this. Let's see. But also the part that we should think about is that the different tools we use end up producing different results. So it's really good to have a variety of ways to apply your paint or your medium. So I bought these plastic containers that you can get online so that I can actually use them to apply the paint in this manner, really. So it's gonna be, I've added some water in this, so let's see. So I'm gonna put this aside. Sometimes actually I can use a piece of paper to dab if I think there's too much paint. I've got all these little papers I've cut off that I can then just take some excess off, and I use these for my collaging because I like to collage onto the artwork as well. Then I've got this that I can use later on for another collage as well. So I'm not wasting any of my art, the paint, the mediums, because I am reusing them. So I'll put this aside to dry. So that is a way of adding some texture, but also we can scratch into it. So I have like some toothpicks just to the side that I can scratch some designs into this as well. So hi, if this is your first time here, as I was saying, I am creating some abstract landscapes today, and here on my YouTube, I like to share different techniques in on how to create artwork. And I'm always just playing around in my studio with designing and playing around with different ideas. So I would really love to have like a bit of this pink idea in here, but I'm gonna wait till it dries and then maybe use some pink paint on top of that. I just want to carry this sky down into this. So I'm being inspired by like the Scottish hills and my environment. And we have a lot of grey skies here, but I love to see like the sunsets as well. We have some beautiful sunsets. So that is what I am thinking about when I'm creating these. And that's what's given this vibrant kind of result for me, is that sunset. So let's see. I was working on this earlier. I might add some pink into this. So I'm just playing around with this and enjoying myself. Actually, there's a darker pink. Sometimes it's good to just add it on the palette instead of straight onto the paintings. I like to add it onto the paintings, but I'm trying to be careful today so that I can play around with it. If it's too much, then I won't have messed things up too far. So I'm just adding this here. I love using orange. I love using purples. And then sometimes you have to slow down and really look at what you are adding. So then scratching into it as well, like some areas, and getting some kind of textures. So I've been adding quite a bit of textures into this actually. Not all of it will show. And then add some more white in places. With the pink still on my brush, I didn't actually get rid of that. So you can come back over and over again to add to a piece, and then I can spritz it to keep it moist because it's acrylic paint and it dries quite fast. So you can spritz it and then you can have that wet on wet effect where you drag your brush across and it carries the paint. So this is what it looks like a bit closer up, and I am going to just drag this across and see. You see how it's dragging the paint and it's really nice faded design in there. I like that a lot. So that's what I'm trying to practice as well, is pushing some areas back, pulling some areas forward. You let it dry. You decide where you want to cut, what parts you want to cut off again, and what parts you want to add. And thinking about the fact that I'm doing, this is like a landscape. So there'll be mountains in the distance maybe. So when I'm cutting into this, it's like fading it. I'm really trying to see what story I'm telling on this. So waiting for things to dry and continually adding to it. I'm going to put this aside so that I can work on some other pieces and let it dry. So I have this piece here that I started prepping yesterday a little bit. So I'm going to see what I can use for this right now. I'm just going to work straight onto it. What I was doing the other day was actually adding some gesso first. But what I'm going to do is just work on a little abstracted landscape area. I'm trying to think if I should do it this way or let's do this. Let's try a longer sky here. So I'm just going to sketch a whole bunch of stuff. It won't make sense at the beginning, but you slowly build the layers. So this is what I was talking about if you have like watercolors, like someone mentioned earlier. And so if I open my watercolor here, it's not very aesthetically pleasing this. I didn't look after my watercolors. So it's like if I get some watercolor and build and just start adding to this as well. These are not wet, so I didn't prep them ahead of time. So, and then just start adding some watercolor into this. And then you can build, aside from the watercolor, you can then start adding other, uh, let's see, let's add some blue. I'm gonna just put water in all of these. And let's do some of this. So my brush is already tainted, let's put it that way. So it's not a saturated red that's gonna come out of this. So if I wanted to do a sunset, for example, and I've got the blues, I can start adding some white to this in a minute. But what you do is you don't cross over your acrylic paint with your watercolor. So I would put this first down, and then I would look to just put some of this blue in here. I think it's like a phthalo blue or something. In this landscape area. So that's watercolor. I've used some of the woody pencils as well. And I'm trying to think what else you could use on top of that. But I'm going to go straight into, you could use some pencils as well, coloring pencils. Let's see, have I got any? Yep, got some here. So color pencils, oops, breaking. And you can add some textures in. You could just color pencils, whatever colors you want to use. Then I have, what is this one? It's like a pastel pencil. And so you can add some of that in as well. So this is what I'm saying about the layering. There are some mediums you have to go in a specific way or it will not work. It won't work when you add it in. I'm gonna add this woody in as well. And the thing is, you could seal each layer. You could seal it with some gel medium. Well, not gel medium, with some gesso. Because gesso's got the texture on it, so it would allow for the next item to go over. And then this is a China marker, it's called, and basically you could use this as well, but this is a white, so it's not really going to show up. I have some other colors that are not here, like reds or greens, blues, black as well, so you could use that. If you were going to use like an oil pastel, that would have to wait till later, because then it's like oil paint, your acrylic paint will not sit nicely with that. So what I could do as well before I do anything else is just spritz this with some color. And I could have just used a plain brush, but I'm gonna go in and start adding my gesso. And if you had your clear gesso, these colors would be more saturated. I am going in with this white gesso, and so it's gonna have a different look. And then you can go in with some other paints. So you've put that in. What you can do is you can scratch through to get to some of those other shapes and colors. And so you just build on your painting. The less amount of gesso you use, it will just kind of tint the color. So I'm just showing you the way that you can layer things. All of these layers don't necessarily matter. They can change. So it's about application. So there's one palette knife I'm looking for. Here it is. So I wanted to use this small palette knife. I really like using this one. So if it's your first time here, my name is Beatrice Ajayi. I'm an artist based in Glasgow in Scotland. And here I love to share what I get up to in the studio. And I wanted to start sharing a bit more this year on my YouTube. So that is why I am doing a live with you guys here and just adding layers to this piece. Let's see if I can add some blue. To this. This is supposed to be my landscape. So I could spritz and then it would spread a lot easier. So I'm trying to get actually a sky and landscape. I really like this. My landscape has gotten a lot higher than I wanted it to, because I'm trying to go for that rule of thirds where you split this into 3 segments. So I'd need to come a lot lower than where it is right now. So I might lose some of that, which is going to be a shame. Right, I'm just gonna add some yellow into this because I feel like everything is very dark. And I want to start adding some light color So, and I love this playing with the color and getting a marbled effect. So that marbled effect is something that's really interesting me a lot these days. Gonna add some of this in here because why not? And let's see, I'll clean that off. So as I said, using different tools, that helps to inform your work. I have here this ruling tool as well, and I love to use this for a lot of different colors that I add onto it as well. So at some point I might do that. I have, let's see, let me check it now. Actually, let me spritz a bit up here. So I could just do a little bit of this. I've gotten rid of my marbled bit up here. So this is how this tool could work. And you can add some other colors. So that's the rolling tool. I wanted to show also my catalyst wedge here, which you can use to do a whole range of stuff apart from spreading some paint, which I'm going to take out of this and show you. So let's see. I'm gonna spread some paint. So this is still quite wet, but I am going to like use this to add paint into this area here. It also is really nice because it can mix, depending on the angle you're holding it, it can mix the paint, it can do a whole range of things. So this is mixing it in. If you've got textures on it, that will impact what you're doing as well. So that's me doing that there and just pulling it down. So you can use it to add paint to areas. Depends how you hold it. So this one is very fiddly because there's no handle. So you need to really be kind of tilting your painting. I like this one with the handle on it. So this is a shaping tool. And basically with this one, you can put it on, the paint on a lot easier. But I mean, they all do different things. So I like to use this. Same idea as the catalyst wedge, but with a handle. And I'm gonna try and just do some stuff. Please don't scream because I am gonna cut some areas out of this that look amazing, but we are gonna paint over them. We're just going to feel free. This is not to restrict myself. So this is what happens as you're creating. You're trying to judge which bits you want to keep. And it's a very difficult journey. I might want to add some brown in here. Let's see. So also I sometimes add like a darker brown actually, but I'm gonna just add this because I want to, I think I need to put more water in this. This is really, it's too stuck in here. So the brown has changed it a little bit. And I really want to do something else with that sky, so I'm gonna have to think about what I want to do with that sky. And you can scratch into things, like I said, so is my toothpick. And you can make designs in it. It could be like the idea of fences or just a pattern. So I like to add all these abstractions to the artwork. Let's see, I need to get some more white on this. So I've got another, this is an old satin glazing liquid bottle, but I have put some gesso in here and put more water so that it's more liquid for me. So I'm gonna add that onto this if it comes out. So as I said, different ways to add to your painting and build layers. And so let's see what I can use on this. So So I can push it down and start playing around with it. And the thing is, then I can also go in and use some paper and change some areas as usual. I want to get rid of this. So this looks quite interesting, but if I'm trying to do a landscape, it's like thinking how I can start trying to unify it. So I like that. I'm just gonna use this on a new piece. I'm gonna let this dry. I don't want to do too much to this. I actually like the way this looks. So I'm gonna take that away and start on a new one. So yeah, let's play around with this as well. So I'm using a coloring pencil over this rough textured board. So I tore a layer off this, so it's kind of like the hand, it looks almost like handmade paper, the texture, because it's been ripped into. And then I've just sketched on that with a pencil, coloring pencil. I'm going to use a water soluble crayon. That's a lot of that one. I'm trying to always use a different set of colors anytime I do this. I'm going to add some orange. And then I want to build contrast. So here is a pastel pencil. So starting to add some of the dark areas. Then I'm looking for, right, the purpley one. I am basically having fun using my tools. I've not added turquoise for a while, so let's add some turquoise there. So with the abstracted landscapes, I have, like this one here was very abstract compared to the other ones I have. Like there's a lot more going on in the landscape, and the actual sky as well it's got some hints of different colors in it, but the landscape is like very, very bright. And so I love using all the colors. There's collages in this. In fact, maybe I'll do some collage in this one actually. There's collages, there's different saturated fluorescent colors, different marks. I really love the way that this one has resulted. So I really love using color in my art pieces. And now I'm going to think about what collage I want to add to this to help boost it. So I'm going to just collage straight over all of this actually, just to get some of this going. So I'm going to use a gel medium, and I'm going to put some of that down. There we go. And I like to use the heavy gel medium because it really gets your paper stuck down there. So this, as I said before, is paper that I've been using over different paintings, you know, picking up the extra paint, if I can say it right. And so what I do is I spritz the paper. I love these little kind of accessories. You can get this online as well. I just add water to it because I use a lot of acrylic. So to keep it moist is really important as you're working. So that's the gel medium on, and I am going to put this paper down. So I don't remember which way I had it. Oh yeah, right, let's see, straight line, sort of. So I have to put enough underneath, and then you put it over as well to seal it in. So there was a lady years ago, I'm trying to remember, she did a lot of collage work, kind of folksy art, and she always said, put your gel medium under and over. So I always remember that. I don't see a lot of her videos anymore actually, which is quite sad because I really loved her work. I'm trying to remember her name. It was so long ago. I've been getting tips off other YouTubers for so many years while I was still with the kids growing up and at home. So yeah, we've now got this. So I might add some I think I want to add a layer. I might add a layer of gel medium over this to seal it, seeing as my gesso is getting less, because this is what you could do, especially if you want to use oil paint on paper. Gel mediums, sealing it, maybe, you know, 2 layers, or I don't know, 3 layers on your paper before you use oil paint, and that's one way to do that. So, and I also wanted to use gold leaf as well, because I have been wanting to use all my different tools. So I've just sealed these colors in with some gel medium, so that's quite nice. And I am going to get some of my gold leaf. I have somewhere here. So I have this bag of some gold leaf and some silver leaf. I've not used the silver ones that much, actually. So I think I'm going to try and do that now. Let's see if I can get it out. It's a bit of a messy. I can see some floating around. I might just pick those and dump them on here somewhere. Let's see. Where? So one, and I'll dump another one. So for artwork, sometimes it's good to do things in thirds. So I'm gonna put one here, one there, and one here. So yeah, there we go. That is awesome. And then you basically just let that dry in there if you want, or you can just keep going with other paint in other areas. So I've got that there. I could use my dryer to dry this. So let's see, it might get a bit noisy. Quick blast. So I really like how busy this is. This is the landscape. That's so interesting. So I could wait, let it dry, and then start using some other colors on it. I can go back to using some other pencils. If I wanted to do that, I could go back and use some pencils on it, but the gesso, I mean, the medium is quite smooth. So acrylics will be fine. But if you want to use pencils and things, then it's going to be a bit harder. I have also got like some alcohol inks that I could put on this. So let's see which one I could use. I don't know. Yeah, this one's open. Wait, I'll shake it before I do that. So there's different ways that we can add to the artwork. Experimenting. That's why I call it my art lab sometimes, because I just think it's just cool, the things that you can do. So that's some alcohol ink going on. I don't know if this one's open. I've had this a while. I didn't open all of them. So yeah, this one's open. So I can kind of just move it around. And you can let that dry, or I can just keep going and add into this. So add in different colors, trying to like find out which areas are going to have the landscape. And just playing around, adding color. Let's see, just a little. Trying to leave some textures that are really interesting, like this area here, sketching into others, and then painting on some areas. Like this is really dark up here, so what kind of a weather? Could be a gray, cloudy gray scenario over this. Feeling the way that the paint is going as well. So as I said, it can be layered, so it's not that we have to go with what is here. And then I'm conscious that this is that the hills, I'm trying to stop the hills here, so I'll cut into this. So cut into this here and let's see, go around. And I'm trying to think what else I can add in here. Just going back and forth, playing around with it. As I said, I've used different layers to get to this point, different tools that I'm working on, blending it all together. I can use a smaller tool to scratch into it, like the toothpick, if I can find it. I'm always throwing them around in here, so I can use the toothpick, a smaller one, and create some lines going down. Scratching and bringing out some of the background areas. It's very therapeutic, and you're not necessarily thinking too much about what you're doing. You just add in the marks that come to mind. You could always write words in this as well. You know, you can be very free. If you like symbolism in different ways, you can add those in. So, as I said, I started off with the color and pencil, the woodies, the water-soluble woodies. I've used the graphite pencil as well to draw on the first layer. I'm trying to remember if I used any watercolor. I don't think I used watercolor in this one in the beginning layers. I've gone on to add some of the collage. I've then also added, so that with the collage, there was a gel medium layer as well that I put over. Then I've also gone in to add the gold leaf, then more scratching and just building like that. So now when we let this dry, we could repeat the whole process again, really. You could put a whole layer of clear gesso and you can start that whole thing over again. So hi guys, my name is Beatrice Ajayi. I'm an artist based in Glasgow in Scotland, and I wanted to be able to start sharing more of what it is I do in my art studio with you guys here on YouTube. So that's what I'm getting up to today, and I've been showing you some of the pieces that I have been working on just yesterday when I came on the live yesterday, and just some art pieces I'm working on and just having fun creating. So that is what I've been doing, just making pieces that I am planning to frame. And so I have been working on textures, using different marks to make the artwork, and so having fun that way, really. This one actually I could work on because the sky was very dark for me, so I can add to that in a minute. So I'll just put that here. But yeah, different pieces, getting a lot of a range of effects, and really loving the results. I really love this one especially. This one is very colorful. It has the collage in it. I like the way the landscape is with the greens. So with all these ones, I am going to come back in and get it to somewhere closer to this, because I like the example of the landscape, which has been inspired by Scottish landscapes. So it should look a little bit more like a landscape to me. But obviously some of them will be more moody because we do get gray skies. So I'm enjoying doing that. This one I have like a layer of some of the gold leaf underneath, and I scratched through to it. So it's got like some areas that are reflective underneath, which is really nice from that. And I like the way the sky has turned out. So I'll probably work a bit more on this landscape to bring it to where I want it to be. Also, here's another one that I worked on as well yesterday, and I really love, like I said, that kind of marble effect of how the paint changes when you are adding different colors. So the more we experiment with this process and painting every day if we can, we end up building this knowledge that you can only gain from actually doing the artwork. So it's really cool. So let's see. So yeah, I'm gonna let this dry as well, and then see where it goes. But yeah, I think that I'll call it a day for being here with you guys on the channel. But do check out the main channel as well, and you can see some of the other work that I've been getting on with. I am really enjoying these lives, so sharing the process with you, like I said, layering, drawing with the woody pencils that are water soluble, and then the pastels, color pencils, and layering. So once this is dried, if I wanted, I could add more acrylic, and then I can use oil pastels on top of this as well. I can add more collage, and it could just keep going from there. So it's endless. It's endless how creativity can build and the layers can build. Another artist that I heard also mentioned that it's good to have at least 40 layers, 40 layers, and that is a lot of invested time in the artwork to then come out and be able to finish a piece. But it's not that you feel that pressure. I feel like art is finished when you think it's finished. It's not based on somebody else's perception of that, because you are telling your story, and your story is going to be different from the next person. So never feel that you are closed in on what you should do when it comes to your creativity. And for inspiration from myself, I am looking at the process currently, because we can run out of ideas. So if you wanted to, for example, paint a portrait, use your different tools, your different processes, whether it's through a bottle, or you're splashing it on, or it's a brush, or it's a scraping tool, or a rolling tool. Use these as your foundation. Just experiment with what your tools could do, for example, on your canvas or your substrate, your paper, or whatever. And then you could start maybe doing your painting after that. And that can help you to start to learn your tools, and also break you free from that blank canvas as well. So we've had some fun scraping into this. I'm going to actually upload this live onto my website as well, so you will be able to access it there, so that this is not where it just stays just in the live. But I'm really enjoying my time here, so I'll see you guys. But check out the website, Be Creative TV, and see what else I get up to. But I'm really looking forward to sharing more of my time here with you guys on the lives, and showing you the different art processes that I'm doing. But it was fun to add the gold leaf to this as well, the silver leaf, and everything like that. So check it out on my website. I will upload it there as well. But bye for now, guys. I'll see you the next time. Bye.